Okay. Should I moderate or who is going to moderate today?
Okay, let me start today's meeting. Welcome to the Harbor Community Meeting. Today is 2023, May 17th. And today, let me open. I will share the community meeting link in the chat so everyone can open it. And I'm going to share my screen. So here is there are a few agenda I listed here for today's meeting. So firstly, if everyone can write down your name to the attendees, that will be very helpful to let the community know who joined today's meeting. And the first one here is I want to talk a little bit about the 2.9 release planning and the current status. We have a milestone which is named the feature phrase milestone for each of the release, start from 2.7, I remember. So this milestone means before we get the the release plan finalized, we can move in or move out some items or issues from this release. So after that, we will have a concrete plan for this release, and the team will focus on what has been planned for this release. So that's that is the meaning for this milestone. Feature for it. So we have reached, 2.9 have reached this feature phrase date, and now we have, I think, sorry, I need to back here. So I have updated the project border and put the major, anchor feature ticket here. So everyone can, it will be visible for everyone from the community. So previously we have communicated with the 2.9 plan maybe 1 month ago. So the major feature in this release is we will provide a UI to get the vulnerability more visible for the administrator or the users will harbor. And another one is about we will continue to improve the performance. So we create this epic and then link some issues created by community or by the maintainers. And the next, we will continue the effort, to adopt the distribution v1.1. We have noticed that the distribution v1.1 have released ASA2 recently. Even though we don't know the exact date they will release this 1.1, but I think it pretty much stable now. So we have some follow-up task planned to fully support that. And another one is also very important. Is about we will totally remove the notary. And this one, we will totally remove the notary v1 from this release. And that has been discussed for a very long time, since 2006. And the last one is we have, discussed with the notary v2 maintenance. So we have built some connection and try to do some collaboration at a harbor site to support the national. So that's something we are interested to do in this release. So this is almost the major sense we will focus on this release. And of course, there's still many other tickets, including this release. And here is a full list. So if you are interested in this, you can go through this one. So I will not talk all these items. So just give the community a overall status update for 2.9. So any comments or questions?
I have a question regarding the vulnerability dashboard. Is there a kind of a already let's say a design, and what information and how you're going to display this information? Is it already defined, or is it still in progress?
Yeah, I think the design is still in progress, and the maintainer, I think Stone is working on the proposal, and I believe it will be available for discussion and review in the community in next couple of weeks. So at that time, we will have a, I mean, detailed information around this feature, what we plan to do, and how it will be implemented, and we'll discuss with the community and the maintenance.
And also, who is working on that, Daojun?
Yes.
Okay, because we need to talk with the maintainers, with the maintainers, with the trainees, the LFX trainees, because there's a trainee working also on the dashboard, right? And it's also in the proposal, so we need to kind of sync with her as well to see where she's standing and what we can take over what she designed.
Sure. I think we will discuss on that part on details. So I think Stone is also in the scope. Do you have any comments regarding Redeem's questions?
Yeah, I think we can discuss it later. Currently, we are investigate the current the previous implementation of the CE database, and basically we have two features. One is the search the vulnerability by project by artifact, and also can search the vulnerability information by CVE ID, and also maybe we can search it by package, etc. And we also should display some summary information. For example, in the project, there are how many vulnerability found, and how many the severity, such as how many high severity CVE or low or medium or low CVE. We can summary by project or by repository. Yeah, this is we are going to investigate on how to implement it. If you have any good suggestion, you can contact me to discuss it. Okay.
Yes, we need to sync also loop in the trainee or the mentee from the ethics program, who is working on that specific task, and she's designing dashboards and UIs, how this might look like. And I think it would be good if we get her on board as well there.
Yes, sure. And then I think for UI part, I think it's Sijun we are working with that part. So both Daojun and Sijun, these two maintainers will majorly focus on this feature in this release. Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's the topic from my side. So does anyone, let me refresh this page. Yeah, okay, good.
Okay.
So this is the next one is from Vadim, right?
Yeah, this is mine. Yeah, I can share this with you.
Sure.
Let me just quickly display
so
this.
you will share the screen, right? Okay, let's stop share.
I've mentioned it already a few times, and we're building a proxy. And I would like now to share this with the community, as it's a bit more mature now. There is more, we made some progress, and I added some documentation so that we can, kind of publicly share this this project, and also provide the community with a solution to a problem that will, be quite common in beyond 2.8 of Harbor. And it's called the Helm chart OCI proxy. And basically how it works is that it's, it's this application that is working as a proxy and also as a transformer. So it will proxy the charts in this chart repository styled format, with the index YAML file and this target Z file. It will transform any, any chart repository that has those styled charts, and proxy and transform them into OCI artifacts. And you can consume those OCI artifacts directly from the proxy, or you can create in Harbor a replication. And the replication in Harbor will then, you could use to, proxy or to replicate charts into your local registry that are not, that don't exist as OCI artifacts yet, So it's like two use cases. You could use it directly as a user, right? The proxy, or you can use it as a via Harbor. And in Harbor, you could, and this is how it looks like, when you try to pull an image. This domain is currently not working, but it will go live, later today. So basically, you can just pull an image as in OCI format from any public chat repository. For example, here we're taking it from JetStack, the cert manager, and specifying a version, and you could just execute it and then download this as an OCI artifact or via OCI, or or even install it directly. So it's depending on how you're using Helm. So this is the direct use case, and you can use it also with Harbor. But the only thing that you need to do is you need to create an endpoint, and the limitation that we have is you need to create an endpoint not to the proxy itself, but also to the to the chart that you want to replicate. So for each chart sort, you need to create an endpoint. For example, for JetStack, you need to create an endpoint for Bitnami, and so on and so on. You need to create endpoints, and then you can create a replication rule, and then you can apply the filters and things that that you would normally use during replication. You can apply it here as well, and then you can replicate charts as OCI images or import charts as OCI images. You could even proxy those if you wanted to. This is also possible, right? You could create a proxy. So currently it's just replication, but you could also create a proxy, and then you could just proxy it from via Harbor as OCI, and can consume it directly. Yes, and this is basically the application. You can run it. You can run it locally, right? Or you can run it in your infrastructure. There's a help chart that we have built that you can use. I'll updating the documentation a bit how to install it. This part is missing here, right? But I'm adding it, and yeah. So this is basically the Helm chart OCI proxy. And if you would like to use it, you can spin it up locally, or you can use our public one, chart proxy. This will go live in maybe today. And you can create issues, pull request if you need to extend it in a way that fits your requirements. And the whole thing is basically based on Go Container Registry from Google, and we basically recreating a registry that will replicate to, or that parses the index YAML file and replicate or transforms the target Z file and serves it as a OCI compliant artifact. But if you're interested in how it is working, it is it's implemented here. So good. So that's it from my side regarding the Helm chat OCI proxy. If you have any questions, Stefan.
Hi, yeah. So last week we've tested it, our team and our environment. So we deployed the proxy on our own infrastructure. It's the same cluster where our Harbor instance is running. So we are the endpoint is just an internal service for us. It's really easy and direct and slim, so to say, and it's just working. So we used the Helm chart to deploy the service. The Helm charts need some improvements here and there, but I will create a pull request once this is public the repository. So no big things, but just some details. But after we deployed it via the Helm chart, it just worked really well. So no problems there. And this is for us a really good way forward to go to Harbor 2.8 and still provide old-styled Helm charts for our internal teams. So this was the solution we are looking for. And we are using it in a scenario where this is just a proxy and not a mirror or replication, just an endpoint. Deployed a proxy project with this endpoint. So we used the Docker registry type for that in order to make this as a proxy available for the teams. So, and then it works.
Yes,
Great.
exactly. So thank you for pointing out. I need to write it in documentation that you need to select the provider as a Docker registry and not as Harbor.
Yeah, we figured, but yeah, this could be an important information.
So yeah, that looks great, Vadim. Thank you. I think that will benefit the community, right? During the migration phase from the 2.7 to 2.8. Yeah, that's great. So thank you, Vadim.
Hi, Steph. All right. Hi, Stefan. I have a question for you. Do you guys have a plan to use the OCI compatible charts? I heard that you're saying that you are still using the old style charts, right?
Yeah, so most of our teams are working in an air-gapped environment and have no direct access to external registries or OCI registries or chart vendor. And they have to go through Harbor, but but not everything is at OCI right now. So we need a way to transform it. Yes. That's why we are using it.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Was this the question?
I mean that you just want to keep the old style charts, or you want to go forward to use the OCI compatible charts after all the things are,
If possible, we want to go forward with OCI. So if the team build own charts, they have to use OCI, but not every public chart is available at OCI. So we need a way to transform it. That's just the one. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Any other question?
I have a team. Is it possible that you can write a blog for this? I mean that the integration with Harbor and this proxy, and maybe someone like Stefan, and who is using Harbor in Heavy and looking for some tool can help them to finish the transform, so then we can link the blog with our official Twitter account. Is that okay for you?
This
Yeah.
was good.
So
Yeah,
we
I can create one. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
have
that's-
a migration control wiki page. We can verify it and make sure it can work, and then we can edit in our wiki page to for user to migrate to 2.8.
Yeah. Yes. We can just add. We can also add a link to this
Mhm.
tool. In our migration wiki page. So do you know the migration wiki page? Yeah, there we have. I have already updated that. We refactor the tool and refactor the steps for the charts migration. So we can also link your repository.
Yes,
from
that's
the wiki.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. While I have to say that using this tool for migration is, I mean, it is possible, you know, like if you have an old harbor running and a new harbor, you could use it for migration. But it's not designed primarily for migration, right? Because you need to set up if you want to do migration, you need to set it up, right? Or replication rule, and you need to point it to your old registry and things like this. So, you know, if you want to migrate Helm charts, I think like a shell script is the easiest way. But I mean, you could use this one as well. Yeah.
Yes. Can you also send up a message to the sec channel? I mean, the CNCF Harbor sec channel, to let more people know this tool, and maybe you can give a short description and the usage on. Yes, I think a lot of people are seeking for this kind of tool to have them to transform the OCI charts.
Yes, I can do this as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Another question, because many of the users still don't want to using the OCI chart. They are remain the older format chart, Helm chart. Is it possible to proxy the OCI chart to the older Helm chart?
Even a reverse proxy. So like you wouldn't.
Yeah.
It could be, but I think it may be easier to have another tool that does this. The thing is, the old style chart format is basically an index YAML file, you know, it's an index YAML file plus a place where the star gazette files are stored. And you could basically, if you read the API, you could you could assemble it quite easily, right? So it's not complicated to write this YAML file. It's just an index YAML file that contains the URLs where the target file is, plus the metadata and the names. So, I mean, you cannot use this for this purpose, but it would not be very complicated to create one that does it. The reverse process, right? Yeah. But for which use case do you think it makes sense? It would make sense to have to proxy from OCI into the traditional Helm chart format. Do you have an example?
No.
Okay. Yeah, because I've been thinking about this as well, but there was no use case that came up to my mind that that made sense. Maybe I'm missing something. That's why I was asking if you have something.
In the discussion of the Harbor GitHub, maybe some of the users still using the old format Helm chart because they prefer to use the Helm search command. But OCI Helm chart does not provide this feature.
Exactly. Yeah, this is okay.
But I think we should open the ticket for the Helm client to push them to implement the Helm search to support the OCS compatible charts to leverage the distribution V2 API to have them. So Jun, can we do this? I mean that we can open the GitHub issue at the Helm report, and then we can use that to discuss with the maintainer from the Helm chart, the Helm team.
Yes, it is in my to-do list.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Okay. That's a really good discussion, I think. Thank you, Vadim, to present this to the community. So any more questions or comments on this topic?
Okay, I have another topic that we should maybe discuss. I will edit here as well. I didn't edit, sorry.
Sorry,
let's-
Vadim, I was on mute, sorry. So if you go on public with this Helm proxy service, so this will be some way the 1.0 from your perspective? Or, okay. So production release.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something usable, yeah.
Thank you.
So the other topic I would like to discuss is the deprecation of Notary. And, you know, it caused some problem when we upgraded from 2.7 to 8, you know, people migrated the applications, and they found out that Helm charts wasn't there, and it didn't work out as they expected, the upgrade. And I think it would make sense if when we, you know, remove Notary, that we upgrade the Harbor version to 3.0. Because this will be then compliant with the semantic versioning that we are, you know, that we committed ourselves to use, and it would make then sense to, update the version so that people will not automatically update Harbor just because it's a feature release, because, you know, like if a feature is removed.
But I think we Harbor is not ready for 3.0. That's a big improvement. I think not just from the deprecation perspective. Either we have to design some V3 API, like some new fundamental improvement like performance, like but for the current Nest minor release, that is the 2.9, it is a routine update, like with some Anchor new features, but we are not ready for the next major release. Yeah, so yeah, I think we can claim like we are deprecating the Notary in the next release, and everyone knows that. And from a signature perspective, we do not provide any migration because that the Harbor has already supported the cosign and the signature tool, but we cannot transform the signature signed by Notary to the cosign signature, right? So we just deprecate the Notary, and user can choose cosign as an alternative to sign their artifacts. I think, yeah, this is a little different with the Chart Museum deprecation. Yeah.
To addition, I mean, we have, you know, kind of we're stating in our community or in our repository that we are following the semantic versioning, right? And because we're stating that we are following the semantic versioning, I mean, we should follow the semantic versioning, and the semantic versioning is not about features, per version that are added or removed. It's basically semantic versioning is about API and compatibility, and the API is changing all the functionality, and the API is changing when we remove notary, because we have our API changes. We have less API than we had before, right? And I think from the semantic versioning perspective, if we want to be compliant with the semantic versioning specification, we have no other choice. It's not something if it's a feature ready or feature worth to upgrade to 3.0 or not. It's basically if you break the API, you change the version, or if the API changes. And this is how people like who are using automated update tools like Argo CD and things like this, they follow this semantic versioning, and that's why a few of them had problems when they upgraded automatically to 8, because they were expecting no API breaks, and there have been API breaks. No, so I think we should, or we change the description in our repository that we're not following the semantic versioning, right? So we have two choices, but we should be decide on one or the other choice. We cannot have both.
Yeah, that's a good point. Can you also open the policy that we define in the community repository? I think we have already a definition on the versioning. I didn't remember that we said we cannot deprecate any component in any of minor release. So So can you open the claim in the Harbor community repository? So let's see what we defined. It could be.
Yeah, I don't think it is in this repository.
It is
Here
here
we
under
go.
release. So we have under release
in
here.
Or in a Harbor repository.
Yeah,
Right.
under releases we have it here.
Yeah,
I think
we
so.
have a definition on versioning. Yes.
Yeah, but it
Yes.
says we were following. Okay, similar to semantic versioning.
Yeah, but I may have
Release.
some different. Sorry, Mr. Chairman. I may have some different opinion here. You can see actually the Kubernetes community is also saying they follow the semantic version. But if you look at the release of Kubernetes, it is still 1.6, 1.x, right? Continue. And during this release, Kubernetes have deprecated many of the features they provided in the old release, right? So I don't think it is a big problem for us. I think we can follow the Kubernetes as a best practice, as an example, and do what we Harbor currently follow, right? And even when you open the semantic version introduction, I cannot clearly see they said you cannot deprecate a feature in a main release, right?
No, it's not about deprecating a feature. The semantic versioning is saying if you're changing the API to make it incompatible to the previous version, you need to update the major version, like incompatible API changes, and a deprecation is an incompatible API change, right?
So API change, I think that is maybe some different understanding from different perspective, right? If we say API changes, what does that mean? My understanding is there is an API already here, and it is continuous provided in the future release, but the behavior change. So that is an API change which is incompatible, right? But for deprecation, maybe it is some difference. The API will not there, right? It is removed. We actually do not change the API behavior. We just deprecate along the feature deprecation. right? It is not an API behavior change. So
Well,
just my
yeah.
understanding. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
For
actually,
sorry, in Harbor's release, in the previous release, if there any API change, we will we actually will. I'm not sure is that already have happened, but I remember if there's some break change, we will clearly point it out, right? So I think from API perspective, my understanding is it is something behavior change, not about application, right?
But it's you know, if you remove an API, it's also changing the behavior of the application. You know.
But that may be different kind of change.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, people. I mean, I'm open for any change, right? But I think for me the important part is to be consistent. And if we suggest that we do something like semantic versioning, and the community is expecting it from it, right? How they interpret the semantic versioning specification, and we interpret it differently, maybe we should not call it semantic versioning on our side. That's it.
Maybe that is a good point we should think about. But how?
Yeah.
What about we look at the Kubernetes? I think Kubernetes maybe also said they use the semantic version.
I don't think they're using it.
Sorry. Or maybe it's not on this side website. We can take a look at it offline, maybe.
Yeah.
For the Node-RED deprecation, there will not API change. I will not deprecate any API. Just remove the Node-RED as a signature tool to support Harbor to sign an image. So
but
no
Notary
API
has an
change
API.
from the no, we do not open any API for Notary in the Harbor chat.
Yeah, but Notary does have an API. You know, Notary. You know.
Oh, you mean the
way how
Notary client?
No, the Notary server.
Okay. Yes, that's correct.
And the API surface, I mean, it's not just our API of Harbor, like the core API, it's the whole API package that we offer to customers, so that or to users. It's in total, yeah. Okay, yeah, maybe we need to think about this, right? So I think it would make our life easier if we be consistent here and make it clear how we interpret it and you know, because otherwise it will be confusing again for people.
Yeah, I agree with you, Vadim. So can you raise the discussion within the maintainer group so then we can discuss this topic? So yeah, so that's great. We should have a concrete, clearly message to the community. So what we'll do in major or minor release. So do not break their expectation. Yeah, like you said, that they just upgrade hardware with the automatically in their aggregate CI/CD. There may be some breaking change. So we should clarify our policy. So can you raise a discussion around this, and so then we can, yep.
Okay, so good discussion. I think that is a good discussion. So any more comments around this? Okay, good. So anyone else have any topic?
I have maybe a question to Florian. He's
Yes, I am.
hello, Florian.
Hello.
There have been a few Terraform provider updates, like pull request. Should
Yeah,
we
I
take a
saw
look
them.
at those?
Yes, yes. I wasn't available the last month, so this is why I didn't handle it. But yeah, I will handle it maybe this week or maybe next week.
Okay, this would be great because there have been a
Yeah.
few pull requests piling up.
Yeah,
And,
I saw them, but I didn't have time because I was not available last month.
okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Otherwise, I don't have any questions or topics to discuss.
Okay, so that's great. So if no other topic, I think we can close today's meeting. And thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining this community meeting. See you next time. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Have a good one.